Hello, welcome to this simulation demonstration. Today I will be taking you through how to simulate the checkout process in an e-commerce store using Microsoft Excel. Our goal is to evaluate two key performance measures. One, the average time a customer spends in the system, including both waiting and being served time. Secondly, the percentage of time the cashier or the server is idle when he's not working on anyone. We are working with 20 customers. That is also another key thing to note, and the simulation will cover a period of 3 hours. Let's get started by looking at how we set up the Excel sheet. So this is my Excel sheet. First, I have to set up an Excel table to simulate the arrival and service of customers. Let me take you through these columns. As you can be seeing, the first column we have the customer ID. As I indicated, I talked about in the first slide, the first information I gave you. I told you we are working with 20 customers, so these are the 20 customers in the first column, and these are their customer ID. The second column, that is the interval time. The interval time here, I use the round between function to simulate the time between customer arrivals, which uniformly distributed between 1 and 15 minutes. The third one is the arrival time. Arrival time, this is calculated by adding the interval time cumulatively. Then the fourth one, the service time. The service time, like the interval time earlier mentioned, service time is randomly generated using the round between function, and it's uniformly distributed between 1 and 8 minutes. If you see, you can even see. This is service start time. Service start time, this determines when the cashier starts serving each customer. When it starts serving each customer. So you see the first customer, they started serving this customer, he or she, at 0. Because that was the first customer. But the second one, you see, the time changed. So it's later of the customer's arrival time or end time of the service of previous customer's service. So when you look at the other column, service end time. Service end time, this is simply service starts. Service end time, this is simply the service starts time plus the service time. Service time here, and then plus the what? Plus the service start time. So we go to time in service. Time in service, this shows how long each customer spends in the system from arrival to the end of service. From the time you reached, they serve you, until you finish. That is the time you spend. That is the time in the system. So when we go to another column, this is the idle time. The idle time, this column calculates how long the cashier is idle. That is when the cashier maybe has finished serving the person who was there on the counter. That time he's spending waiting for another customer to come to his counter. That's the idle time we are talking about. And another one, that is the total idle time. Okay, when we go this side, we have put green, as you can be seeing. It is now the summary cells at the left, it is painted in green, of this table. This shows the average time in the system for the customers and the proportion of idle time for each cashier, as you've seen them. Then step 2, running the simulation for 50 replication, because they told us to do 50 replications. So how I did this, that's what I'm going to tell you or to take you through. We went to simulate this process multiple times to see how the results vary across different scenarios. We will use Excel data table feature to run the 50 replication of this simulation. First, I have created a list of 50 replication in a column from O to R, up to R. So those are the columns where the replication is. Then column P, I have linked the average customer time in the system. Total time in the system in column Q, that is column Q, yes. Then, and in column R, I have linked the proportion of idle time. These columns will be display the results for each replication. Now I will highlight, okay, I'll take you through how I came up with this data replication. I highlighted the average covering the replication. I've highlighted the entire replication. Just a minute. So I highlighted, that is the entire replication, let me call it table. Then after highlighting, then I go to data tab, up here the data, then I from that data tab I went this side, the left side, where you will find what if analysis. So I clicked on what if analysis, then I had to select data table. So when you select the data table, you will see a cell looks like this, and it has a dialog. Actually, it's like a dialog. It has a row input cell. We leave that row input cell empty, and then we go to the second one, which is called column input cell. And on column input cell, that's where we go back to our Excel, and then we click an empty column, like which doesn't have any data, like that we have done. And then from there I click OK. So when I click OK, automatically you will be seeing my 50 replication data running. So let me now, like the last step is, that is step 3, analyzing the results. At the results from this 50 replication, first I can see that the average customer time in the system varies across the replication, but moreover it seems the average not exceeding 23 minutes. So that's it. Thank you for listening to me. See you next time.